So lesson 1 is about college preparation. In this lesson, we'll discuss how to self-assess which colleges are the right fit for you, an overview of the admissions process, including key criteria, and then wrap up with application strategies, including early action versus regular decision in order to maximize your odds of success. First, let's talk about how to select the list of colleges you'll apply for. The first question you should be asking is, what outcomes do you want to achieve in your post-college career? Graduate school, becoming a professor, lawyer, doctor, businessman or businesswoman, scientist or engineer? Second, what non-academic activities do you enjoy and want to continue? For example, the arts, writing, music, dance, sports, speech, human rights, volunteering, international clubs. Third, are there any geographic constraints due to family or personal health situations, financial limitations, or cultural fit? For example, the East Coast and West Coast cultures are very different, as are the Midwest and Southern cultures in the US. My overall recommendation is to write everything down, create a Google Sheets, and add rows for each attribute, such as career, activities, geographical needs, and then add columns for potential schools you'd like to consider. Then rate each school across the set of objectives and see which colleges match the best. This becomes your short list of prioritized colleges to apply for. The US college admissions process is often misunderstood, especially for elite private colleges like those in the Ivy League or Stanford. In my experience, admissions officers assess each applicant in two primary areas: quantitative academic achievement and qualitative leadership, both the potential to contribute to an incoming class as well as beyond college. Let's start with the quantitative. Harvard rejects 25% of candidates with perfect SAT scores. Most top-ranked colleges reject 50% of valedictorians, those ranked number 1 in their class. Strong grades, class ranking, and test scores are often necessary, but not sufficient on their own to gain acceptance to top-ranked colleges. Admissions officers look for applicants that are not only book smart, but well-rounded outside of academics, and not only well-rounded, but really strong in at least one extracurricular activity. When college admissions directors design an entering freshman class, they want to ensure it is composed of people who are strong and unique in different areas: in creative arts, in speech, in debate, in individual and team athletics, in music and orchestra, in human rights, volunteering, and more. They want exceptional leaders and champions to contribute to a strong and diverse entering class. Turning to the college application, it is important to plan your strategy well in advance. It boils down to which of these options is your primary goal. Option 1 is what I'll call the wide strategy. With this option, you don't necessarily care which Ivy League or top-ranked college you get into. The most critical thing is to get into at least one elite university. Option 2 is the narrow strategy. Using this strategy, you only have 1, 2, or at most 3 top-ranked colleges you really like, and the brand name of any given top-ranked college isn't as important to you as the right personal fit. Option 1 is essentially a shotgun strategy. You would do some customization of essays or recommendation letters for particular colleges, but mostly it's you time managing effectively to get materials completed and submitted by the deadline dates for your 5 to 10 colleges. In fact, you might use the exact same personal essay or recommendation letters for multiple applications. While they need to be high quality, you likely won't have much time to customize too much for each school. Option 2 requires you to customize and thoughtfully curate each of the 1 to 3 applications by spending significant time, both in deep reflection and in preparation. While 90% of your time should be dedicated to your target schools, I would highly recommend also applying to 2 to 3 in-state public colleges as safety schools. In the worst case scenario, where you are rejected at all of your top choices, this becomes your insurance policy. Now let's talk about early action EA versus regular decision. As mentioned earlier in the course, restrictive early action applicants have a 3 times higher probability of getting in than regular decision candidates. November 1st is a typical EA deadline, so you need to prepare further in advance. My recommendation is to choose your top fit or priority school as EA, as opposed to the school that's purely the easiest to get into or the one with the biggest brand name. The most important thing is to rank and prioritize our colleges effectively, which goes back to our earlier discussion on college selection process. Finally, a few words on alumni connections. In many top-ranked private universities, including the Ivy League and Stanford, applicants who are children of alumni are categorized as legacy students and often have a 2 to 3 times higher chance of being admitted, all things equal. If your top priority college happens to be the same as the one your parents graduated from, you can actually maximize your chances of acceptance by applying EA to a college where your parents are also alumni. This scenario can potentially improve your admissions chances by 4 to 6 times compared to students with no family connections who apply regular decision.